1 year on since Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin's historic decision against Section 53 of the Criminal Code, what exactly has changed for Belize's LGBT community? Do they now have a greater voice, an opportunity to be heard? Finally, the right to live peacefully without having to hide their sexual or gender orientation. Yes and no, says the plaintiff in the case, Caleb Orozco.
Things have changed psychologically, but systematically or informally within government and legal institutions, not much has changed.
And that is the reason for Pride Week, a series of events intended not only to celebrate the decision, but also to welcome the rest of Belize into the LGBT sphere and begin and continue a discussion on important issues that directly impact the LGBT community, as well as the greater society. Daricia Castillo Salazar, president of the pro-LGBT and family-oriented Our Circle NGO, explains.
Looking at the judgment of the case to today, it's evident in all of our organizations. While we can say our memberships are of whatever number, there are people within our organizations who have stepped up, who have become empowered. Not only become empowered as LGBT persons, but have become empowered as citizens in Belize and have demanded, because of the education that has stemmed out from the case and from the trial, that have become educated and empowered to move forward, to move the LGBT movement forward. Because we're at a point now where, yes, we've gained success with Section 53, but Section 53 is just the start. So at the point of her saying, yes, we have a voice, yes, we have the right to be heard.
For Evesina Efonyemi, the secretary of Belize's first organization supporting lesbian and bisexual women, PETAL, the message of inclusion and equality is also important to spread within the still closeted LGBT community.
The bottom line is that if we were living in a just society, which was my response to my colleagues in advocacy, if we were living in a just society and a just world, there would be no need for these groups, there would be no need for advocacy, because basically everybody, whether they were of dark complexion, whether they were poor or rich, whether they were educated, no matter what political affiliation they had, what belief system they followed, or who they chose to love, if everybody were treated equally in our world, there would be no need for these organizations. There would be no need for a Pride Week, for example, because at the end of the day, we would always feel comfortable as human beings, and we would always be able to celebrate who we are, no matter what talent we might have or experience we come from. The reality is that even in this beautiful jewel of ours, all of its citizens do not enjoy the same rights. And that is the reason why advocacy is necessary in our country. So having a Pride Week and having all the activities that we're having, the organizations we're engaged in, are necessary so that we can enjoy the same rights that every other citizen enjoys. And I have to say that Section 53 was an accomplishment not just for the LGBT community, it was an accomplishment for all citizens of Belize, because it has to do with our rights as citizens.
For all the parties and launches of our Circles Resource Center and Family Guidebook for LGBT families, the big day itself, says Orozco, takes them back to the Supreme Court.
The invitation is extended to those persons who believe in the idea of the Constitution to hold up a very specific message around how the Constitution is valued, to hold up a specific message around the value of human rights. And this would include any citizenry who feel marginalized for whatever reason. I think this is important because when you look at Belize, you can see red, brown, black, and whatever additional color and every ethnicity that exists here. And I think it's time we understand that respect for diversity has a practice, it has an application to everyday living. And when we look at our history, it's really about peace and security, not our differences.
Aaron Hughes reporting for News 5.